The answer of the tongue is from the Lord. I want to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is The Answer of the Tongue is from the Lord. And this pretty much comes from the book of Proverbs, the 16th chapter, which we're going to read. And this was something I wanted to do the other day in the lesson, the previous lesson to the one yesterday, and didn't get, around to it. So kind of want to just do something in this lesson. Lord's will, it'll be edifying. Because when I was reading Proverbs 16 to get some points out of there for the other lesson, there's more in that chapter that has some good meat in it. And as I was reading down, first thing that came to mind was the prophet Daniel, and the situations that he found himself in, and how the Spirit worked with him and gave him the proper knowledge, wisdom, and understanding on how to handle his situation that he was in. And this is why the scriptures say, let's get it. We get it all the time. This is a basic staple scripture, but let's get it anyway. Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So pretty much these times that we're coming to are only the only option that's going to be left to us is, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. This is going to be our stability. This is going to be our stronghold. This is going to be our fort, our fortress, our castle. The only thing that's going to really protect us in these times. Because remember, the Lord said, well, there's two things. Yahushai said, take no thought what you shall eat or what you shall put on. And then, the Lord, the Most High Yahweh said that my servant shall eat, my servant shall drink, my servant shall joy for joy of heart. Because the times that are coming, which are perilous times, there's going to have to be some type of divine intervention to protect us from what's coming. And what's coming is not going to be very nice. It's going to be very detrimental. It's going to be very hard on the mind, especially of these so-called Americans that have been pretty much like mush. They don't like to think. They don't like to be corrected, especially Jake. They just want to have fun. You heard the song, girls just want to have fun. Well, Americans just want to have fun, especially Jake, because we're not really concerned with the other nations. And what I mean by Jake is short for Jacob, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And they don't want to think. They don't like to be put in an uncomfortable position. They don't like to wait. They have no patience. Everything has to be quick, and this is the mentality and what's been built, and instilled in the American, especially the Israelites here in America. So that's why it says that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Now, let's get to the scripture. This is Proverbs 16:1. The preparation of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. So whatever we are to say, it's going to come from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai at the proper time. Because, once all hell breaks loose, there's going to be, answers that are going to be sought. There's going to be a questioning going on. There's going to be persecutions. There's going to be testimonies that have to be given in these times. So whoever it be that gets caught up, whichever one of us gets caught up in any of these situations are going to have to give an answer, of why, things are the way they are. And I will start off in Isaiah 13:1. It says, the burden of Babylon, which this Babylon is talking about America. It wasn't talking about ancient Babylon. And when you read the whole chapter, you could see it's not talking about ancient Babylon, because ancient Babylon did not go out this in the way, excuse me, that's described here in Isaiah 13, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. What is the banner? The banner is the Bible, the truth. Upon the high mountain. What is this high mountain? The high mountain represents America, because a high mountain represents a high government. And there's really no other higher government in the world than America. This is that beacon of light, that golden city. You know, you have other high mountains or high governments such as Russia and China, but the highest on the planet is America. And there's a reason why the capital of America, which you could say is New York, it's called as the Latin phrase for it, or the Latin word to describe it, is called Excelsior, which means exalted. You know, and there's a reason for that, because they are the top of the mountain. That is the highest mountain on the planet. So we have to lift up this banner of truth upon the high mountain, upon America, meaning we have to go out there and teach and prophesy of the things that are going on and things that are going to happen in the future. And in doing this, there's going to be an uproar, you know, from the people, from the governmental agencies, you know, from the politicians, from the police, or whoever it be that gives the complaints about what's going on. And you see the tumult kind of happening right now. You see, you know, them bringing up false accusations and trying to demonize us, so that when they create something, they could say, well, look, see, they already been building up, you know, the thoughts in the minds of these so-called American people to look at it sideways anyway. So when something that they create happens, then they'll look at it, see, I knew it. I knew them crazy you know. So that's what they're doing, but we to teach anyway. It says, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand. So if you exalting the voice and shaking the hand at somebody, you're telling them off. And this is what the prophets did. They went and prophesied against many different countries, high governments, you know, about war and pestilence and different things that were going to happen, you know, throughout that particular empire, and how it was going to fall. And we're doing the same exact thing today. It says that they may go into the gates of the nobles, which are who? These politicians, to try to do something about it. The higher ups, to try to do something about it. So this is why knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times, or of our times, and strength of salvation. Because we're going to have to answer for these things. This is Matthew 10:16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. And we have to conduct ourselves in a different manner in which Jake does out here. We have to try and walk our best walk, so to speak, pursuant to what we have learned to the best of our ability. I mean, we're not perfect, you know, we ain't squeaky clean, and we ain't trying to be squeaky clean, you know, but we're walking this walk the best that we can. It says, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. See, hey, shalom to the Akim and the elders on the comment board, and if there's any Akwath watching. It says, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. See? And you shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake. And this is going to happen again. This happened back then with the apostles, you know, and the rest of the men that were with them. And it's going to happen again today for my sake, for Yahushai's sake, because we're still giving the same testimony of Yahushai. It says, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. So we are to give a testimony against what's coming, against what's happening. All right. It says, but when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what you shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what you shall speak. So at that moment, it will be given to us what to speak. That's what the scripture says. Study to show thyself approved, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. And in that way, the Lord can use us as a mouthpiece and put his words into our mouth to speak the right things at the right time. It says, for it is not you that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. And this is why Proverbs 16:1, it says, the preparation of the heart in man and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. So the Lord is the one that puts the right thoughts and the right words into our mouth to speak and say the right things at the right time for whatever situation may be. To either be delivered out of a situation or to give a testimony or a judgment or a prophecy or whatever the case may be. All right. And whether, we be delivered or put to death, it depends on the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. It says, all the ways of men are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. Because at the end of the day, the Lord tries the reins, which is the thought patterns that go in our mind. Not what comes out of our mouth, but our deepest thoughts. It says, commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. See? So if we commit our works unto the Lord, our thoughts shall be established, because we will be able to say the right thing at the right time. It says, the Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished. So Esau is not going to go unpunished. It doesn't matter how many Israelites, hold their hands and, kiss them or, say that they're all right and give false testimonies that they're going to be all right, But it doesn't matter. Okay. It says, by mercy and truth, iniquity is purged, and by the fear of the Lord men depart from evil. When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without right. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. And once we read on more, you'll see where we're getting at with this chapter. A divine sentence. Now check this out. A divine sentence is what? A sentence from the heavens. Just like Yahweh Shai said, take no thought what you shall speak, for it is not you that speak, but the Spirit of my Father that speaketh in you. A divine sentence is in the lips of the king. His mouth transgresses not in judgment. A just weight and balance are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are his work. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. And this is why the scriptures say, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, who frameth mischief by a law? They take these laws, Esau takes these laws and frames mischief by them. So are you going to continue to rule? Are you going to, is wickedness going to establish your kingdom or righteousness? You see, it says righteous lips are the delight of kings. So this is what a king really looks for. They look for the truth, even though Esau is the devil. But when you deal with these other kings like Nebuchadnezzar and Darius and them, they were about truth. They were about, the sentence of truth. Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him that speaketh right. The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. And this is the scripture that made me think of the prophet Daniel. It says, the wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. Because remember, which we're going to read, that King Nebuchadnezzar had gave a decree. Well, actually, he had a dream that he couldn't remember, so he called all his wise men, which we're going to read that, and none of them can give the sense of it. None of them were able to break it down. So what happened was he got mad. And what he did was he put out a sentence, against all the mighty men, all the mighty and the wise men and all that, the wise men of Babylon. He put out a sentence to put them all to death. All right, so let's read that. Daniel 2:1. And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams wherewith his spirit was troubled and his sleep brake from him. So this particular vision, which was a vision, was so troubling to him that he woke up from the dream and he couldn't go back to sleep. So now he wanted to know what this dream meant. It says, then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans. So they would be called in the middle of the night. You might be getting, your groove on with your woman, or you might be knocked out, tired from the day, in the court and all that. And it might be 2 a.m. 1:30 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning, whatever time, and the king summons you. So all these wise men had to get them shake their stuff up and go before the king for to show the king his dream. So they came and stood before the king. So they thought it was business as usual. The king is going to tell them a dream they had and they're going to break it down to him. Right? But the king, pretty much this was set up in a different way, but it was really set up to show the power of the Most High and his blessings, and his mysteries and his secrets, with his men, which was the Israelites. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Sareg, O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me. If you will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation thereof, you shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill. But if you show the dream and the interpretation thereof, you shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore show me the dream and the interpretation thereof. They answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation of it. The king answered and said, I know of certainty that you would gain the time, because you see the thing is gone from me. But if you will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you. For you have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me till the time be changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that you can show the interpretation thereof. So there was a back and forth, because he forgot the dream, and they thought that he was just going to tell them the dream. They was going to break down, give them some bullshit story so they can get back to bed or whatever. The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, there is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore there is no king, lord, nor ruler that asks such a thing at any magician or astrologer or Chaldean. And it is a rare thing that the king requireth, and there is none other that can show it before the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with flesh. For this cause the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. Boom. So that's why it says the wrath of a king is as messengers of death. So there was this hasty decree that was given. Anyone that was considered wise, and a magician, a wise man, a Chaldean, somebody that dealt with philosophy and wisdom and all that, grab them all up and kill them all. It says, and the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, which was going forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, why is the decree so hasty from the king? Then Arioch made the thing known to Daniel, so he explained what was going on. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time, and that he would show the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they would desire mercies of the Most High, the power of heaven, concerning the secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Because remember, the king gave that decree to kill everybody. The wrath of a king is as messengers of death. Right? It says, then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the power of heaven. It says, Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of the Most High forever and ever. Because they weren't praying in the name of sweet Jesus. They weren't praying in the name of Jehovah. They weren't praying in any other name but in the name Yahweh. See, they weren't praying. They weren't saying, oh, Jehovah, or oh, Jah. None of that. They were praying to him in his name. It says, for wisdom and might are his. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. So when we're speaking, the thoughts and the pattern of thoughts and the words and the way it comes out of our mouth is all directed by Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. That's why Yahweh Shai said, don't take no thought what you shall speak, for it shall be given to you in that hour. This is mainly dealing when we're brought before the gates of the nobles. But even when we do these lessons, it's the same thing, because the spirit takes over. I thank thee and praise thee, O thou power of my fathers, who has given me wisdom and might, and has made known unto me now that what we desired of thee, for thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. Therefore Daniel went in unto Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus unto him, Destroy not the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will show unto the king the interpretation. Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said thus unto him, I have found a man of the captives of Judah that will make known unto the king the interpretation. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, Art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen and the interpretation thereof? Now the king asked him this question. Now listen to Daniel didn't just say, yes, I have the vision of the gods, and I am this great, prophet, and, and you must laud me and bow down to me. No, this is what Daniel answered. Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king had demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king. But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets. So he gave the credit to who? To the Most High. And maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days, because that's what his dream represented. Thy dream and the visions of thy head upon thy bed are these. Right? And there's going to go into the whole dream. Right? As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed, what should come to pass hereafter. And he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living. But for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. And from the 31st verse on down, it goes into the dream of the statue. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump down to the 46th verse. Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. The king answered unto Daniel and said, Of a truth it is, that your power is a God of gods, and a Lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal the secret. So just in that instant, when the Spirit of the Lord came upon Daniel and made his words come together, his thoughts come together, tell the dream as he saw it and the interpretation thereof, the king's anger was pacified. It went from kill all the wise men to, okay, nope, we got what we needed. Leave him alone. It says, then the king made Daniel a great man. Oh, matter of fact, let's go back. The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. See? So the Lord put the Spirit in Daniel to be able to pacify the anger of the king by making him to understand, to first of all, to call back the dream that he had and to break it down. That's power from on high. That's that divine sentence. All right. It says, then the king made Daniel a great man and gave him many great gifts and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon. Then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon, but Daniel sat in the gate of the king. All right, so let's go back. So you see how the wisdom and the revelations that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua gives to his men can deliver him out of many different situations. Just like the message of the prophets, caused them to be put to death because the message that the prophets brought to these different kings and to certain Israelites that were in prominent positions was not beneficial to them. But it was the sentence of the Lord. You see, nevertheless. So that's why scriptures speak about the testimony of the men of the Lord, that they're going to suffer death, some of them, for that testimony, because the testimony goes contrary to the particular empire or kingdom that they had been in. Same thing today. When we read Hebrews 11 chapter, that whole chapter speaks about faith. But when you get to a certain point, it speaks about the hardships and the torments and the torture and the deaths that the prophets went through. because of their testimony. You see? And our Elder Apostle Gabar just did a video on that, which was a lamb back off of the video that the brothers out there in Texas did, you know, basically speaking on this, that the testimony that we have can cause certain ones of us to be put to death. But this is all to the glory of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And like William Wallace said, oh Lord, let me die well, you know. So if that happens to be any one of our course, we pray the Lord that he let us die well, like men, to honor him, to honor Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It's it, like Elder Apostle Gabar said, which is true, a lot of these different camps don't talk about that. And they themselves said that there's not going to be no such thing as Jacob's trouble. So what about when the scriptures say about those that were beheaded for not accepting the mark of the beast? What about, the scriptures, a time of trouble such as was never since there was a nation? What about in 2 Timothy 3, the perilous times that are to come? What about Jacob's trouble? What about the great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord? What about all them scriptures like that? About the great persecutions that will come upon the men of the Lord. Through great tribulation, y'all must enter into the kingdom of heaven. You can't just erase that and cast that off. But that's why the people that follow him, they're at fault because they're just going along with whatever he says. And that's what the scriptures say, cursed be the man that trusteth in man and maketh arm his flesh. So going back to Proverbs 16 and 15, let me read 14 again. The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is as a cloud of the latter rain. How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather to be chosen than silver? Why? Because with this wisdom and this knowledge and this understanding, you're going to get all of these things. We get all of that stuff later. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul. And there's certain individuals that don't give a damn about their soul. They don't give a damn about being delivered or not. They're just in it for the moment. They're just living in the moment. Those are Israelites, those living in the moment Israelites. Shit, that's a lesson right there. Those living in the moment Israelites. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Better is to be of an humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoils with the proud. He that handleth a matter wisely shall find good, and whoso trusteth in the Lord, happy is he. The wise in heart shall be called prudent, mean wise, and the sweetness of the lips increaseth learning. See, those are those wise sentences. Understanding is a wellspring of life unto him that hath it. Knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of that times and strength of salvation. But the instruction of fools is folly, because they're not going to follow the instruction. The heart of the wise teacheth his mouth. See, just like the Daniel, the Spirit of the Lord put the Spirit on him, revealed these secrets, and his mouth, was able to speak from this wisdom. So it says, the heart of the wise teacheth his mouth, and addeth learning to his lips. Pleasant words are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Let's see. Yep, these are some good. I'm going to read a couple of these precepts. Seek the Most High. Amos 3:7. Surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants the prophets. That's a beautiful scripture. Actually, that's Apostle Tara's top favorite scripture. The elder Menatazakba, Revelation 2:10, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Yep. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried. And this is a trial. The trial of our faith being much more precious than of gold which perisheth. And you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Because not all the men of the Lord are going to be put to death. That's only reserved for certain ones of them, whoever it be. But for the most part, the majority of the men of the Lord are going to be taken care of. They're going to be delivered. Because you got to think of it. How many times in the past, in the ancient world, have the prophets been put to death? There's got to come a time where the prophets got to win. So we're in that time now when the prophets are going to win. And the only reason why some of them will be killed for the testimony is because that is a part of the program. That is a part of the prophecies. It says, an ungodly man diggeth up evil, and in his lips is as a burning fire. A froward man soweth strife, and a whisperer separateth chief friends. A violent man enticeth his neighbor, and leadeth him into the way that is not good. He shutteth his eyes to devise forward things, moving his lips, he bringeth evil to pass. The hoary head is a crown of glory if it be found in the way of righteousness. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. The lot is cast into the lap, which is a lot of the prophets, as well as a lot of those that are to be destroyed. But the whole disposal thereof is of the Lord, because eventually the Lord is going to magnify his prophets, his elect. All right, so let's go from there to Proverbs 3 and 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Bottom line. All right, Proverbs 21:31. The horse is prepared against the day of battle, but safety is of the Lord. See, so it doesn't matter how much you prepare yourself, no matter how great your army is, the judgment and the victory is of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. 1 Samuel 17:45. Then said David to the Philistine, Thou comest to me with the sword, and with the spear, and with the shield, but I come to thee in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, power of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. So he didn't defy King David and the armies of Israel. He defied the Most High himself. This day, and the Lord caused a young man, a stripling, to shame the champion of the Philistines. That's how powerful the Most High is. This day will the Lord Yahweh deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee and take thine head from thee. Damn. Woo. And I will give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel, and this power is only in Israel. And all his assembly, and all this assembly shall know that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and he will give it you. He will give you into our hands. See, so that's why the scriptures speak about acknowledging the Lord in all thy ways, and he will be the one that's going to direct us and protect us. And knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times. And as the name of the lesson is, the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. So all we have to do is just keep doing what we've been doing, keep on teaching, praying, doing whatever we got to do to make our calling and election sure, giving that diligence, and hoping in the might and power and mercies of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to deliver us from the things that are coming. So with that, I pray that your brothers have been edified. And to the next time I say, Shalom. To Proverbs 3 and 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Bottom line. All right, Proverbs 21:31. The horse is prepared against the day of battle, but safety is of the Lord. See, so it doesn't matter how much you prepare yourself, no matter how great your army is, the judgment and the victory is of the Lord Yahweh Bashem